I enjoyed the first two episodes of the season, but it would be hard for me to call either of them great. The second one comes the closest to me with a great scene elevating a strong episode, but I would struggle to call that a truly great episode, and I patiently wondered how long it would be until I saw a great episode with our new doctor, and I am happy to say that I wait no longer because this episode was great. Spoilers inbound on this one, but with when this review is dropping, you have probably already seen the episode weeks ago, so I'm just going to give you a few moments, and if you're staying with me, then let's get right into the spoilers. So, I really just felt that this episode was real, and that's one of the things that I really liked the most about it. It felt real. Really early on, we get this literal slap in the face after Yaz makes a comment about how fun time travel is, and then we see a racist white man slap not only Ryan, but us, the audience, to reality, and we remember, oh no, time travel is not always fun in games. That was a really well done scene, and I honestly thought that whole element was handled well in the story. The racism of 1950s Alabama had to be there, and it was really hard to watch at times, and this really wasn't a fun episode, well, for the most part. Even though this episode felt incredibly real, it walked a fine line of injecting humor into the situations without it feeling misplaced and allowing our characters to really be themselves. We get to see the doctor hold back her temper as she gets infuriated by the racism and also make jokes that she is Banksy. We see Yaz and Ryan have a serious moment but are still able to make jokes about the fact that a lady from the restaurant called her Mexican, which by the way was a very funny running gag and definitely had me laughing quite a bit. I also really liked the scene. I did like that scene between Yaz and Ryan, and it was really good stuff when they were by that dumpster and they were hiding. That was a very nice moment. And we see Graham commenting about needing regular food, and also see him dealing with this emotionally complicated situation where he desperately wants to leave the bus but knows that he can't because otherwise this incredible moment in history won't happen, even though he really does not want to be a part of it. Man, that was a really good scene, and I didn't mean to jump right to the end like that, but it just happened, and I would like to take a moment to comment on Bradley Walsh because I think that he does a fabulous job in this episode, and he portrayed the complexity of that scene so well. I'm just very impressed by him. I also think that this episode does a really good job of towing the line between not being involved at all and being overly involved, because they didn't feel pointless in this episode, but it also didn't feel like everything relied too heavily on them in terms of the historical event that our characters were involved in. And they were involved in the plot, and it felt like what they were doing was important, but it never felt like they manipulated Rosa Parks or took any of the shine away from her legendary moment in any way whatsoever. And I thought that was handled really nicely, and I think that Vanette Robinson did a good job. She obviously didn't have a whole lot to do as Rosa Parks, but she did have a sizable amount, and I was captivated by her performance, and I thought that she did a good job. I will also add that the antagonist of the piece, Krasko, works well for what he needed to do in the story. I mean, he's a really simple antagonist, but he's also racist, so his motivations aren't particularly complicated, and they really shouldn't be. I mean, he's just racist, and I thought that was fitting to the episode and worked quite well for the story that we got. And I liked that he had a time vortex manipulator, and I liked even more that the Doctor referred to it as cheap and nasty time travel again, and that was a really nice touch. Also, I've heard people speculate that Krasko is a character that we already know, and that surprised me because I really don't think that would be the case. Just based on his usage in the story and what has been said about no returning villains, I would be shocked if somehow that became a reveal of the season. If anything, he's Mac from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and I'm not even sorry, he looks a lot like Rob McElhenney to me. Am I the only one? I don't know. I also want to say that I like how they figured stuff out throughout the episode. I liked seeing everybody bounce ideas off of each other and problem solve with some rather clever solutions. I really liked that, and I thought it moved at a pretty good pace. It never felt like it was rushed or slow, so that was nicely handled. And touching back on a couple more character moments, I really like this few second scene that we get when Graham remembers Grace, and I wasn't very impacted by her death, but these scenes that's resulting from that death are turning out to be quite good, so that's something to keep note of. And there was a moment that I just can't help but love when Ryan says, "Excuse me, Dr. King." "Yes, Rosa Parks?" Whoa. And that moment, I mean, it was just a nice acknowledgement of how crazy time travel is for our characters, and it was a neat way to briefly make a moment of that. It was well done. Also, I'm really enjoying Jodie as always. She really feels like the Doctor, and she just brings a lot of fun to this role, but she still managed to take the part seriously and be a commanding presence with some really on-the-fly thinking. And obviously, I don't have a whole sense of her doctor so far, but I'm liking what I'm getting so far in the story. Also, I'm really liking this music, like a lot. I'm becoming quite used to it, and really find myself digging how neatly it fits in with the episode. Seriously, I quite like this music. Also, I'm still pretty sure I like the TARDIS interior. Seeing everybody standing inside of it at the end pretty much solidified it for me, but I'm still not 100% certain. Also, this episode really did feel like a more educational episode of the show, one which you could show your children, teach them a little bit more about Rosa Parks, and I really like that. I mean, that's what Doctor Who was founded on back in the 60s. Now, going back to that ending, this is what truly sold the episode for me. I mean, I already thought the episode was great throughout, but seeing that ending with the struggle of Graham as he realizes that he cannot leave the bus, and seeing that absolutely incredible moment on film when Rosa Parks takes a stand is just absolutely fantastic to see. And I must admit, I did shed a tear or two when I was watching it. And I'm not totally sold on the song they played during that scene. I mean, it's not a huge negative for me. It's okay. I can roll with it during the scene, but I would prefer they either composed the original music or didn't play music at all. But, you know, not a big negative, just something that bothers me a little bit when I watch it. Overall, I thought this episode was really strong. I seriously have very few complaints and came in with an emotional experience that left me happy and sad and at the same time hopeful. I thought all of the main characters worked well and the supporting ones did their jobs efficiently, with Vanette Robinson giving a solid performance as Rosa Parks. This was a great episode with a great ending, and I am happy to give Rosa a 9.25 out of 10 stars. Sorry once again for the late review. I wish I could have gotten it out earlier, but that simply was not an option. My next video will be a review of Arachnids in the UK, and hopefully that will be out within a week or so. And if you would like to check out my reviews for the past 2 episodes, that would be awesome. I even have a ranking of the post-regeneration stories, which you might be interested in. So with that said, I hope to see you again next week, and thank you for watching. Take care, and have a lovely day.